Welcome back everyone. I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys that the iPad 8th generation is still one of the best iPads you can go and pick up, and for the price tag that it is, I'm going to be completely honest, this is probably the best, cheapest iPad you can actually go ahead and pick up as of right now. Now this thing isn't perfect, it's definitely a little bit dated, but it's really not a bad idea. If you wanted to go and pick this thing up, you can pick it up for fairly cheap in the used market. I've seen a lot of these things go for less than $300, which it was already $300 brand new, but I've seen a lot more of these things go for around $200-ish. And for a couple $100, this is still a very capable iPad for sure. Now, first of all, with the front of this body, this thing still looks extremely good. Obviously it's not extremely great as, the iPad Pros, but it still looks fairly nice. And that massive 10.2-inch panel looks great. It's an IPS panel, the resolution is fairly high, and there's very few things to complain about when you know what you're getting with this thing. Obviously there's a lot of bezel at the top and bottom with the home button as well, but I'm not really complaining about it too much, and I actually do think it's pretty good for the most part. Now on top of this, the build quality is still very good, a lightning port and headphone jack on this thing as well, single camera setup on the back as well, which is really, really important. But on top of that, because this thing is over a year old as of this point, you are getting a depreciated iPad for the most part. Because it doesn't cost what it used to cost, because we already have the successor to this thing, I've seen a lot of these things go for around $250. Now as of right now, there may be a little bit of a change in the price tag, but I do think it's actually really, really good as well. So because of that, you're able to get this iPad for around $250, maybe even less than that, and it really isn't even that outdated. The next thing is the performance of this iPad is still very good. It's a really good performing iPad. You have the same chipset essentially in this iPad that you have in something like an iPhone XS, so that's a pretty decent performing iPad still, and that's still a very fast chipset as well. So I really have few complaints there too. You have 3 gigs of RAM, so it can really, handle everything you throw at it. As long as you don't need things like that super smooth ProMotion display or that, mini LED display on those new iPad Pros, you're really not missing out on too much. And because you still are supported with software for the next couple of years, you're going to be getting a super long-lasting iPad on this thing as well. So again, very few things to complain about on the build quality and the performance segment. Really the only disadvantage of this iPad may be the camera. It's definitely not the best performing camera anymore. Only 1080p on the back and 720p on the front. Some disadvantages there. Again, it's not the end-all be-all of the world, but it is one extra thing to kind of keep in mind with this specific device. But I'm not really complaining about it too much, and like I mentioned, there's really not a whole lot else to kind of complain about with this iPad. The battery life is also extremely good. It is easily one of the best performing, batteries that I've had for an iPad as well. So again, you're just kind of getting one thing after the other with this iPad, and the main thing is when you know what you're getting, when you know how expensive and how cheap this iPad is, you can kind of limit your expectations. I think that's the best way to kind of describe it. So ultimately what I can tell you is this is easily one of the best cheap iPads you can buy, and I would highly recommend you guys to go and pick it up if you're in the need for an iPad. You can't really go wrong with this specific device in my opinion. So in terms of that pretty much covers it up. If you guys have any other questions or anything like that, let me know in the comment section as well. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.